Double, double, toil and trouble. Some topics discussed may make people uncomfortable. For fair is foul and foul is fair. On this podcast, we will definitely swear. A lot. Now round the cauldron go, trigger warnings listed in the notes below. Thrice and once the hedge pig whined, the cocktails cry, it's time, it's time.
By the pricking of my thumbs, something wicked this way comes. Maiden, mother, crone. Plot twist, we're all the crone. The stories aren't all made up and the points don't matter.
Welcome listeners to The Weird Sisters, a podcast about the blurst and bizarre and all the things you were happier not knowing about.
I am a long drop and a short stop. Laura.
I'm the trapdoor you don't know is beneath your feet. Ready to drop? Tay.
I am Lacey. I'm dead, but I can still play my instruments.
Very cute, very ambiguous. I like it, team. We have a theme of haunted castles for this episode, for our Halloween episode.
Yay! Spooky, scary skeletons.
Dun, dun, dun,
Shivers
dun.
down your spine.
I like that. Good ad-libbing into it.
I've got a song in my heart.
You do. You really do.
Mm-hmm.
You know how everyone has like a theme song in their head for themselves?
Oh,
Oof.
Yours is definitely something to do with skeletons.
I've forgotten every song I've ever heard except that one now. So that's my theme song. It's done. It is known.
It is known.
It is known.
What would yours be?
Oh. Well, probably something erratic and really annoying that just loops, because I was trying to explain to Jason a while ago how Jason is the person who runs our YouTube channel, by the way, if you don't know that.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you, Jason. But I was trying to explain how like thoughts get stuck in my head on alarming regularity, but they're not just regular thoughts. It's like it turns into a song and it just loops. So I'll be like wandering along, getting on with my day, and then I'll be like, that's a cute rock. And then it will just be, that's a cute rock. That's a cute rock. That's a cute rock. All over again and again and again for hours. And it will annoy me. And then it'll go away. And I'll be like, oh, thank fuck. And then all of a sudden I'll look at something else and it'll be like, that's a cute plan. That's a cute plan. And it just never ends. So that would be my horrible, horrible theme song.
Coming soon to Spotify.
Coming soon to Spotify.
Absolutely love
What
it.
about you, Lacey? Do you have a theme?
Do I have a theme?
Agonized screaming?
No.
The rattling of chains in the dungeon of a haunted castle.
Accurate.
Yeah.
Segue.
Oh.
Ooh. No, I think I'd just be like a little crackling candle.
Aw.
And then like a windy howl, like, ooh. That's me.
I love
Did you know you
that.
can get candles that actually do crackle?
Yeah, wick. What's it?
Wood wicks
Wisp
or something
wicks.
like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're so good.
Someone bought me one for a Kris Kringle many years ago. It was great. It's a good candle. I was impressed because he was not going to be able to get me a good gift otherwise.
Candles are a safe
Yeah,
gift.
they are. They're a good gift.
I love candles, and I received some with woodwicks for my birthday. Thank you, Luke.
Very nice.
And they are so good, and I have so many candles, and I will continue to get more candles until my room is nothing but a corvid's nest of candles.
Well,
And I'm very happy with that.
yeah, that's wonderful.
Until your room is a fire hazard, you won't feel like you have enough candles.
Essentially.
Excellent.
It's already a fire hazard. We both know that. Well, all right. Segueing. I'm first. I'm going to tell you a story. Yay!
Yes.
So, my castle for us is in Ireland. So it is called Lep Castle. It's said Leap, like it's written Leap, but it's not because, of course, the Irish have to be difficult. It's Lep.
Yes, we do.
Yes. So, Lep Castle in Ireland got its name in the 15th century. Basically, there were two brothers who contributed to this. They're both leaders of the fearsome O'Bannon clan. They decided the best way to decide on who the chieftain would be of the two of them would be to leap from a rocky outcrop where the castle was going to be built. So, I don't understand this, but basically they were like, let's both jump from this fucking cliff, and the survivor, or the least injured of us, will rule the clan, and we'll build a castle here.
That's such a boy thing.
Such a man thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Such
boys. Oh gosh.
Well, yeah, exactly. So the original name roughly translate from Gaelic to Leap of the O'Bannons, and so it's Lep Castle. Ta-da!
Yay!
I like those origins. Actually, they're
I
good.
know, it's really
Yeah,
good. It sounds
good.
like something that would be in a like an R.L. Stein sort of like little Goosebumps
Vibe.
book.
It does.
So before the O'Bannons, the rocky outcrop was a site that was used for druids and pagan ceremonies and all sorts of cool shit. So it was considered magical and was a place of worship.
And so the castle was built on there. That's like the UK equivalent of like a Native American graveyard.
Exactly.
Underneath your house.
A druid circle.
Exactly.
Druid
But
circle.
the only difference here is that it wasn't invaders who came and built this castle. So that's all right, I think. I don't know.
Is it?
Maybe? I have no idea.
Let's find out.
Let's find out. I mean, like, I'm talking about it on this podcast, so it probably didn't go great.
Yes.
So, the O'Bannons were a subsidiary of the O'Carroll clan. They were known for being very fierce, very brutal, and they are known to be particularly violent and cunning in their attempts for domination. So, like, in the first 68 years this castle existed, there were 167 recorded murders just between the clansmen themselves. That's not including any enemy clans.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like a
Power,
lot.
man. All about that male domination.
And it's great because, like, this is the 15th century and, like, people are actually recording these murders. So fuck knows how many happened where it was just like they pushed someone into a bog or some shit and we just never heard about that person again.
Yep. They just, went away. They went away.
Yeah. They went to go and live with cousin Fanny on the other side of the hill. I don't know.
God, isn't Fanny just the worst fucking name?
It is. It's a terrible fucking name and I'm really sorry if that's your name, but your parents didn't love you. Oh.
If they named them Fanny within the last 100 to 200 years, then they definitely didn't love you.
It's like when
When it became colloquially known, 100%.
As Vag.
it's bad. I have a friend who started dating a girl recently. Well, he didn't start dating a girl. He's interested in this girl.
Okay.
And she brought a friend around to hang out. They are not in Victoria, so they are not under social distancing rules. Because they're in America and there's no problems there, apparently.
I was about to be like, lucky fuckers, and now I'm like, no, I'm never mind.
We're good. We're fine. Yep.
And so this friend came around and she was like, hi, my name's Meadow. Like the field. Like she needed to clarify it.
Oh, no.
Cute name.
Meadow is a lovely name, but that's really funny. It's like the field.
Yeah, it's a cute name.
The Meadow.
But what else would you be if not like the field?
Like the butter?
Meadow Lee.
Oh, that's right. It's Meadow Lee.
No, but
It's still named after the
her
field.
name could be Lee.
True. Oh, that's rude.
Is it?
I need to find out. I'm going to have to find out who this random girl, what her full name is. I need to know it. But yeah, okay, fantastic. Moving on. So, 1649, the property of Leap Castle was handed over to the first of the Derby family. So he was a soldier in the Cromwellian forces and was handed the property and lands in lieu of payment. He held the castle until 1922 when most of it was destroyed by a mysterious fire.
Woo!
Yeah, love it.
Mysterious fire.
I know, right? Like, the idea of stone burning sort of fucks me up, though. I know the castles obviously had, like, wood furnishings and shit in them, but, like, that
Yeah,
sounds
so
hard.
bluestone,
Yeah.
if it heats up really hot, it explodes.
Really?
Ooh.
Yeah, bluestone does. Yeah, it's really cool. A friend of my mother's years ago had a house made of bluestone, and like her partner just told me that when I was like 8 at the time, and I was like, "Fuck,
Oh,
that's spooky." And I've never been able to, like, every time I think of stone, my head goes stone, bluestone, explosion, death.
I love the
It's the mental gymnastics that I do.
Good.
Yeah, I love
Good.
that. I love the things that like stick in your head. Like I can't remember half the stuff we learned last year, but if you ask me anything about emus, I'll be like, they're the only birds that have 2 feathers from the one plume. Learned that once 20 years ago. Never forget it.
I
That's
fucking love
cool.
bird facts.
That's a cool.
That's excellent. Thank you.
Birds are very cool. They are living remnants of the dinosaurs. Naturally, they are cool.
Do you know octopuses are older than the dinosaurs?
So are sharks.
They're so octopuses. I think they rule the world. Like I think they do.
They're so smart. They're the smartest little dudes.
They're aliens.
They crash landed here 1 trillion years ago.
Yep.
You can't convince me otherwise.
Now I'm imagining the mass exodus of dolphins from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Octopi.
So long. Thanks for all the fish.
Oh, bless. Okay.
Anyway, sorry. Yeah.
No, good. I liked that. That was very cute. So fast forward a little bit. We are now in 1889. So Jonathan Charles Darby marries the 20-year-old Mildred Drill. Another great name, Mildred. Mwah. He then moved his new wife to Lep, and they went about being pretty normal, having a nice little marriage, being very cute, very sweet, except they're doing it in a fucking castle. The dream. That's honestly, I'll marry you straight away if you promise to move me into a castle. I don't give a fuck who you are. Sorry, JD. So Mildred had no idea that the place that she is going to live in was the most haunted castle in Ireland. Naturally, if you're going to Ireland and you're going to live in a castle, though, you'd assume there's some level of haunting, so she should have known. But we have Mildred to thank for almost all, if not all, of the ghost stories from Lep. Over the years while she lived there, she sent letters back to friends that contained her first-hand account of the hauntings, and because of it, she got very interested in writing, and she published her first horror novel in 1910.
Yeah, girl.
Yeah, she did it on a male pseudonym, which sucks because she had to, obviously, to get people to read it.
Yeah.
But she also got really into seances and probably made shit a lot worse, but she was very cool.
What a queen.
Yeah.
Lovely.
She'd fit in well here.
Yes.
She definitely would. Stan Mildred. So her not very supportive husband, Jonathan, was not into her stories, did not like the book, never forgave her for writing it. He always claimed that the ghost stories, which had been told for centuries about his home, were utter nonsense, and he had absolutely forbidden Mildred from speaking about them. The only spirits...
Good guy.
Yeah, exactly. So the thing he apparently often said was, the only spirits in this house are in the cellar.
As they
that's
should
a good
be.
one.
As they should be.
That's a good one.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Sounds like my dad. So, moving on to the ghosts. Yes. The Bloody Chapel.
Yes.
What a great name. I want to have, and no matter, I'm moving into a new house and I'm going to pick a room and I'm going to name it the Bloody Chapel. I'm just going to put a little painting of Jesus.
Which room?
Maybe the little weird outside nook bit.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
And I might just put a picture of Jesus on the wall and be like, ta-da, a Bloody Chapel.
It's done.
So yeah, okay, the chapel. Naturally, castle must have a chapel. We're in Ireland. So, is apparently home to many spirits. The most famous is known as the priest, because where else would he be? In 1532, there was another power struggle between a pair of brothers for chieftainship. This is a theme. One of the brothers was a priest, and while performing mass for the family, the other brother barged into the chapel and slaughtered him in front of the altar.
Oh!
Amazing.
Chill.
Right, exactly. So naturally, you get pretty fucking pissed off and you decide, I'm not leaving. I'm hanging around. I'm going to piss everyone off. So he's mainly been seen hanging around the Bloody Chapel, but he also does lurk in the stairway on the west wing of the castle. So he hangs out. Now we come to me, the oubliette. The oubliette? Is that how I say it?
Yeah, oubliette.
That's right, yeah.
Oubliette.
Oubliette. That's it. I was trying to remember how to say this before we started this episode, and I still fucked it up. Well done.
And we all instantly forgot.
I know. Literally minutes before. Okay, anyway, so oubliette. If you don't know what that is, you will discover. I will explain, because it's me, the long drop and the short stop. So in the 1920s, during renovations that was overseen by Mildred, naturally, because she's fucking living in this haunted castle, she's going to make it her home. An oubliette was discovered, hidden behind a wall in the Bloody Chapel. So an oubliette is a long vertical tunnel, sort of like a well, but there's only one way out, and that is up. There's no water in it either, usually. I mean, I've never heard of it having water in it, so we're going to say no. They are usually used to hide valuables or as a place to hide in during a siege. But the O'Carrolls had modified the chamber to serve a different purpose. Um, We know this because skeletons impaled on spikes were found lying at the base of the oublet.
Impaled on spikes.
So cool.
Impaled. Spooky, scary, skeletons. Yes.
I love it. I love it.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh,
Love it.
so brutal. So when the chamber was cleared out, because naturally Mildred was like, still going to renovate.
Shamefaced.
Human remains.
Yeah, exactly. She's like, oh, no, get those out of here. I don't like them. There were enough human remains to fill 3 carts. Now, obviously, we don't know how big the carts were, but we're assuming when you say cart, there's a certain size involved, and there was a fucking lot.
Just like, I don't know, a little calf trailer full of bones.
Well,
That's the size I'm going for in my mind.
yeah, good, because there were 39 men from the O'Neill clan in at least some of those remains, so there's plus 39 bodies.
Holy shit.
The O'Neills were employed to help with the siege, and when they returned victorious, they were invited back to Leap Castle for a celebratory feast.
No. Don't do it, man.
Yeah. I mean, like, this is very Game of Thrones shit. I love it. It's very cool.
It is, isn't it?
So Game of Thrones. Oh. So unfortunately, the feast was poisoned and their throats were cut because overkill. And then the corpses are just chucked into the oubliette. Whew.
They'll be right.
Love it. So naturally, difficult to pronounce word is from French. It means to forget.
Oh, that's very, very good. It's very beautiful.
It's nice. I like it too.
Yeah.
Fuck, going to the chapel though would be shit because there's like 39 plus rotting bodies behind there.
Look, I think everything smelled back in the day, so nobody was really like,
Yeah,
you know.
exactly. I mean, the fact that toilets are such a modern invention, and like we know for a fact that Versailles stank because people would just go in a corner and piss and shit.
Have a shit.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, nice.
It was in vogue not to shower in France at one point because of one of the kings who got an anal fissure, and then everyone wanted to get an anal fissure. I can't remember which one it was, but he's my favourite French king because he's a grot.
That's
Boasted he only took 1 shower a year.
so gross.
Yeah. Hopefully I can do an episode on him soon if we do something yucky because he's lovely.
I really, really want that. We need to definitely do some gross monarchs or something like that.
Yeah. Yes, gross monarchs.
Gross
Perfect.
monarchs. Love it. You put something in my head and now I forgot what it was. Oh well. Anyway, so French name to forget. Once someone was thrown into the oubliette, they were just forgotten about. Moans and screams were often heard coming from the oubliette, and the O'Neills are said to haunt the Great Hall, where they were obviously slaughtered.
I tell you what, when I was little, underneath my bed was my oubliette. I used to put all my shit under there so that I would say, Mum, I've cleaned my room, and just have like, you forget. That's what.
Yeah, no.
I totally would have used mine back in the day for like KonMari, decluttering.
It doesn't bring joy to the oubliette it goes.
To the oubliette it goes. Yes.
I have to get rid of so much shit because I'm moving house. I would like an oubliette so I can just throw them in there, please.
Ooh, please video call me. I want to watch you throw out things.
Okay. Sure.
It makes me calm.
I'll make it a Facebook Live event. We can all watch me throw out dumb shit that I've amassed over the years.
Oh, I'd love that. Please do. Thank you.
No worries. Well, so the discovery of this long drop, shelf stop, was it sent shockwaves to the castle. It's said to have awakened many spirits from their dormancy, including something called the Elemental. Ooh. But we'll get to him later because I am going to be suspenseful, so deal with it. Instead, we are going to talk about the Red Lady. A little bit more excitement,
Lady.
thank you. Yeah. Amp up.
Yes.
So Red Lady, amazing. Like, just what name would you like if you were a ghost?
My great grandmother is the Pink Lady.
Oh, that's sweet,
that's
but I just think of
lovely.
apples straight away.
Yeah. She likes to rattle teacups.
That's really cute.
Oh, that's
Isn't that
exactly
nice?
how I imagine you
Yeah.
as a ghost.
Does she wear pink? Is that why she's called the Pink Lady?
Yeah.
Oh, I like it. I like it very much. Well, this is the Red Lady. So she is an unnaturally tall woman in a red dress who carries a dagger.
Nah, fuck it. I hate unnaturally tall things.
I like them. They're cool.
Height is a underrepresented thing in horror.
Slender Man, fuck it. No,
Yeah,
not
love
into it.
I love it. It's so creepy.
It's really cool. It's really easy to make something uncanny and really off in a really subtle ways to make it exceptionally tall.
And slim.
Yeah, Trevor Henderson's art, who's an excellent horror artist on Twitter. You've probably heard of his stuff. You've heard of Siren Head.
Yes.
Oh, Siren Head. Yeah.
That's him.
Oh,
he's
fuck.
excellent. His stuff gets stolen all the time, though. It's really annoying.
Oh.
But all of his stuff is unnaturally long or unnaturally tall, and it is so creepy, and it's really wonderful.
Oh, I like it.
Really wonderful.
I
into
don't
it.
like it.
Well, people who see our unnaturally tall red lady comment on an immense cold filling the room, as if she makes eye contact with you. And if she makes eye contact with you, she raises her dagger because threatening and
No.
fucking why not? I mean, I would too if I was a ghost and I like apparated into being with a dagger in my hand. I'd be like, well, I'm gonna scare shit. That's just what I'm gonna do from now on.
That's what I'm going to do.
So Mildred Darby, our resident lady of excellence, makes mention of the spirit in her article Kilman Castle, the House of Horror. There is a tall, dark woman in the historic scarlet silk dress that rustles. She haunts the blue room, which always used to be the nursery, and sobs at the foot of the children's beds.
Ooh.
Miserable.
Oh.
Miserable.
Oh.
Because there were lots of dead kids. Kids just didn't make it easy back in the day.
Yeah.
It wasn't easy
No.
for them.
That's why you had to have spares.
Yeah, that's why you had so many kids.
Isn't that wild?
Mm.
Isn't that wild?
Yup. That's why Henry VIII went nuts when all his kids like died or were female.
That's because like his dick was poison. He had crazy syphilis times.
Yup.
Oh Christ!
Naturally.
They used to stick a hot needle up the eye of his penis.
Oh, in the urethra.
Yeah,
Why?
to try and burn out all the rotted flesh.
Oh my lord!
That's fucked. Holy shit. I did not
Oh
know
my
that.
god. Medicine is so fucked.
Oh my
Medicine-
god.
Medicine is so
Oh,
fucked.
No
so
wonder
fucked.
dude didn't fucking make any kids. Jesus Christ.
He did make one son
Yes.
with Jane Seymour, but he died very, very young,
Yeah.
very early. Which is why we have Bloody Bess.
Who's Bloody Bess?
And then Bloody Bess was... Oh, Bloody Mary,
Oh.
sorry.
Oh, I know Bloody Mary.
Which was Elizabeth I's older sister. And she fucking loved to burn people. Yeah,
That's brutal.
really into it. Yeah, she was very
Imagine that
brutal.
being your personality. I just fucking love burning people. Fucking
Yep.
froth a pyre.
Hated heretics so hard. Yeah.
I'm into it.
Very
I
good.
like it.
Yeah. Anyway,
hmm.
that was Lacey's History Corner.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, we're moving on then. A
Yep.
short and sweet one. We now have the Banshee.
Oh, I love it.
know, it's so cool.
Yes.
So a woman's shrieks and screams are often heard in a particular stairwell. When she is seen, she is almost naked and has a red cloth over her face, which is exactly how I want to come back. It is said that she was a murdered lover of an O'Carroll man.
Ooh.
So they're fighting over the women, they're fighting over the castle.
Yep. Why not? I mean, like, yeah, it's cold there. And
Boys.
Yeah, she's probably the only woman in like 70 miles.
exactly.
Christ. There's definitely a historical romance written
Yeah.
to that format, surely.
100%, except it should have been a horror.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So now we have Emily and Charlotte, who are the names given to two little ghost girls who haunt the castle. Because you have to have creepy kid ghosts. So
Always.
Exactly. And judging by the fashion that they wear, they're believed to have lived in the castle during the 1600s. Emily died aged 11 from falling from the castle's southeastern battlements. Sucks, poor kid. People outside the castle have reported seeing a little girl falling off the castle roof and disappearing before she hits the ground.
Oh, that would be a really, really unsettling thing to see vis-a-vis
Yeah.
like hauntings. That would really fuck me up.
Right?
Mm.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Ugh. Watching someone
No thanks.
have like basically recreating their death over and over again is quite upsetting.
Yeah.
And then
I hope that doesn't happen. I hope that's just like a bit of data stuck in the ether. And that's not exactly what happens, because I would hate that.
that would be so shit. Yeah, fuck that. Well, because obviously Emily and Charlotte, they're talking about two little girls. I was like, oh, they're friends. They hang out. No, Charlotte is seen in a different place. She's seen limping down the great corridor, dragging a twisted and deformed leg behind her.
Oh.
Yeah, poor kids.
Laura, could you repeat that? Because that just went all like really weird and staticky.
Oh, okay.
I don't know whether it went.
Well, it's probably because my voice is just not working today. Excuse me.
You've got that Britney Spears vocal fry.
I do.
Oh, baby, baby.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Well,
Carry on.
I'm not cutting this one
no,
out.
don't.
This is a good one.
So Charlotte has been seen limping down the great corridor, dragging a twisted and deformed leg behind her.
Oh.
Yeah, poor kid. Like, imagine, like, I can't imagine that life in this, 1600 period when you have a deformity would have been great.
Nah.
It would have sucked.
No.
And then being forced to basically drag it around with you for all of eternity. That's just like, come on,
to
dude.
drag it.
Yeah.
To drag it.
Yes.
Now, finally, we come to the big boy, the elemental.
Yes.
Dun, dun, dun. So, he is the most mysterious spirit at Leap. He's also called the Thing, which I love.
Oh, sexy.
Yes, very.
The elemental.
So it's completely unique to Leap Castle. No other haunted place has something remotely close to the elemental. We have zero idea what it is, what it does, or where it comes from. And the best theory so far is that it is something ancient, conjured up from the times when Leap was a sacred place for the druids. So, yeah, brutal, monster of H.P. Lovecraft conjuring origin.
Yes, please.
Love it. So there are multiple accounts of experiences with the elemental, and Mildred describes it best. So this is taken from one of her letters to a friend, which was later published in her House of Horrors book. So it's a little bit long, but bear with me.
Okay.
Just scared my rabbit. Suddenly, 2 hands were laid upon my shoulder. I turned around sharply and saw, as clearly as I see you now, a grey thing standing a couple of feet from me, with its bent arms raised as if it were cursing me. I cannot describe in words how utterly awful the thing was. Its very undefinableness rendered the horrible shadow more gruesome, human in shape, a little shorter than I am, but I could just make out the black shape of big holes like great eyes in sharp features. But the whole figurehead, face, hands, and all grey was unclean, bluish grey, something the colour of an appearance of common cotton wool. But oh, so sinister, repulsive and devilish. My friends who are clever about occult say things like that it is an elemental. The thing that was the size of a sheep, thin, gaunt, and shadowy in parts. Its face was human, or more accurate, inhuman, in its vileness, with large holes of blackness for eyes, loose, slobbery lips, and a thick, saliva-dripping jaw, sloping back suddenly into its neck. Nose it had none, only spreading cancerous cavities, the whole face being a uniform tint of grey. This, too, was the colour of dark, coarse hair covering its head, neck, and body. Its forearms were thickly coated with the same hair, so were its paws, large, loose, and hand-shaped, and it sat on its hind legs. One hand or paw was raised, and a claw-like finger extended ready to scratch the paint. Its lustreless eyes, which seemed half decomposed, and looked incredibly foul, stared into mine, and the horrible smell, which before offended my nostrils, only 100 times intensified, came up to my face, filling me with a deadly nausea. I noticed the lower half of the creature was indefinite and seemed semi-transparent at least. I could see the framework of the door that led to the gallery through its body. Bum, bum, bum.
Oh my god.
Right?
Oh my god.
No wonder fucking Mildred went on to become an author. God damn.
She had to do something with that PTSD that she was experiencing.
Yeah. Jesus Christ, that's chilling. I love that.
Super gross. I love it, yeah. And the detail of it makes me feel like she saw something because...
Yes.
Slobbery lips.
Exactly. Obviously, people come up with shit all the time. We're writers, so we imagine weird shit. But we also know that as writers, that it usually has a spark from something. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
they always ask where do ideas come from, and it's a thing that we always ask when we're at, you know, little conferences listening to other authors. And it's always the same sort of shit. Like, I don't fucking know, man. I saw a key and I was like, what if that key opened the universe? Like, that's it. That's so it makes me think like she saw something fucked up and creepy.
Essentially as well, because like, again, as writers, we write shit, but there's always details we forget because we see it so clearly. To describe it on paper and get all of that detail out, we leave things behind. There are such specific details there. And like listening to that, and I think, and as I was listening along, I'm like getting this like image in my head, and then another detail just drastically changes that.
I know.
It was constantly shifting in my mind's eye. That was so cool.
I love it. It's so creepy.
I'm horribly horrified by
the thing that gets me the most
God.
weirdly for some reason is like the use of sheep as a descriptor.
Oh yeah, dude, that fucked me up.
Well, it was Ireland, so
Yeah.
Are we making
Very
a
druidic.
joke about sheep shagging? Is that what's happening? What are you doing?
I mean, like they were like the most common animal around, I guess.
I'm kidding, but yes,
Oh dear.
definitely.
Because we all know that the Welsh are the sheep shaggers here.
Okay, moving on. It's one thing I'm not comfortable with is bestiality. Please no.
The one thing you're not comfortable with.
I don't
Okay.
like it. A friend of mine recently was like, so I'm going to send you to a website and it's really fucked up. I was like, I'm on board unless there are animals involved. That's the only thing that I'm like, no, I don't want to see. I've gone to a lot of really creepy places on the internet and I just, no, don't want to be there for that.
That's a fair call.
Yeah.
I'm not going to judge you for that.
So, we also have a little piece about Millie's husband because he said he never saw any fucking ghosts while living in this giant haunted castle, but he did see the elemental. So,
Which, you know what? By this, is technically probably not a ghost.
yeah, so he's probably
something
telling the
fucking
truth.
else.
He's exactly right. He never did see a ghost. He saw a terrible fucking monster reanimated by druids a couple hundred years before. So, Mildred wrote in one of her letters, my husband was out ahead of me, and at his heels, I passed through the corridor of wing and into the gallery wing round. I don't know how the fuck to understand what she's saying, but it sounds like a big fucking house.
Yeah.
Round two sides of the hall. 2 lamps on gallery 2 and more in the hall below. On the gallery leaning with hands resting on its rail, I saw the thing, the elemental, and smelt it all too well. At the same moment, my husband pulled up sharply about 10 feet from the thing and half-turned to let fly a volley of abuse at me, ending up dressing up a thing like that to make a fool of me. And now you'll say I've seen something, and I have not seen anything, and there is nothing to see or ever was. This last speech without pause began waving one hand at the thing, ends up stalking back to his dressing room, still abusing me for trying to give him a fright.
What a prick. But also the hands resting on the rail.
Yeah. Like it's just like there and peering. Oh,
There you go.
I think he's funny. I think the husband is very funny because he's just like seen something horrendous and is like, Mildred, you fuck. I'm not saying anything.
It's really, really good.
This sounds like the sort of shit that JD would do because I am a horrible person to live with and I do awful things to him all the time. Just getting so frustrated and being like, can you not? Can you just not? One day, please. I don't want to come out and have this gross fucking thing, this dead fucking thing, lent up against the side of my house. Please. Thank you. Okay. Bye.
It's excellent. Fuck.
Bless Jonathan. So we finish up with 1922. Lep was set alight and looted by 11 men. To this day, there has been no concrete motive as to why this happened. The castle lay in ruins until 1974, when an Australian man, Peter Bartlett, who was an avid historian, purchased the ruins and set about faithfully restoring the castle. Following his death in 1989, the castle was bought by a musician, Sean Ryan, who continues to restore Lep to her former glory. And that is Lep Castle.
Yay!
Wonderful. Thank you. Amazing. Oh my God.
Woo! My sources, naturally, Wikipedia. Fucking good times. Thank you, Wikipedia. Bless you. Never change. Also, lepcastle.net, irishcentral.com, which has the Lep Castle ghost story, AdelaideHauntedHorizons.com.au, darktourist.com, IrelandBeforeYouDie.com, great name for a website.
Oh, love it.
And there's an interview with the current owner on YouTube as well that you can look up with Edinburgh Castle.
Wonderful.
Yeah, great times.
Yeah.
Oh.
So now's the point where we address the fact that you say castle and I say castle.
That's because you fancy princess.
But also you say mass and I say mass.
Yes, I can't.
You say documentary, I say documentary.
No, I say documentary.
Oh no, we have it on recording. You say documentary.
Do I? Ooh, I
Yeah,
don't
you
listen
do.
to our own recordings.
What? we need the views, man.
I edit them. Oh, not anymore. Tay's been editing them for the last two. Thank you very much, Tay.
You are most
Excellent
welcome.
skills. You may have noticed an improvement in quality. Yeah.
I'm putting my uni degree to good use.
Well, I can only say that my parents are very English, and I am very bogan. And so it's all ruined. It's all trash. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know why I say it. It just comes out.
Okay.
Where are your family from, though? They're all Kiwi and Canadian and English, aren't they?
Mhm.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
of course. You have a weird accent too. Huh?
Yeah, but sometimes people can't tell me and Tay apart when we're on this.
Oh, really?
which I cannot understand,
Yeah.
because to me I sound like a 10-year-old in a 40-year-old's body. And Lacey has this like smooth as butter fucking voice.
Yeah, Lacey sounds like a radio
so-
presenter.
deep and
Yeah.
low.
It's
And very
it's nice.
close and very close to the mic.
You can hear all the bits and pieces from the mouth.
Yes.
Please put a pop filter on that. Both of you stop. Ew. That's all right. I'm always the one that turns around to talk to my rabbit while we're recording, and then all of a sudden my voice goes like this. Disappeared.
At least you don't have your dog. At least your rabbit can't bark.
No, he squeaks.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
that's
it.
nice. I like
It is
that.
really nice until you're trying to nap on the couch and he sits on your head and just starts squeaking. That's fucking annoying.
That's lovely.
Oh
It
my
is a good
God.
time. It's very
Super,
sweet.
super.
It's very sweet.
Mm.
Okay. Well, thanks for listening to my story. Who's next?
Oh, it's me.
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
it's me.
Oh, it's me.
Me little. Oh. Ladies, listeners at home,
Yes.
castles, Austria,
Yes.
Moosham Castle.
No idea.
It
Neither
doesn't
did
sound
I.
very Austrian.
Doesn't it? I don't know why it's called Moosham. I couldn't find it anywhere.
Mm.
It's not and all of these names are hard to pronounce. And I've done my best.
Yep.
Please don't come for me. So, Moosham, Moosham, Moosham Castle was allegedly built on the foundations of a Roman castrum in the 1100s.
Nice.
It's near Nuremberg, in Salzburg, Austria. So a castrum is, because a lot of the info is like, oh, it's built on a Roman like fortress. It's no, a castrum could be a fortress. It could be a barracks. Or it could just be a Roman army plot.
Okay.
So it doesn't sound as like cool when you say like a plot of land that was owned by the army. No, a castrum.
Sounds much better.
Keeping it historical. So the first mention of the castle's name was in a deed dated 1191. So this is old shit.
I love it.
It's known as a spur castle, which is a castle built into the side or spur of a mountain.
Oh.
So it can be defended on 3 sides instead of 4, with its most vulnerable side being flush with the mountain.
Oh.
Which I thought was cool. High spur castles were built to hinder the increasing popularity of the Trebuchet, and such heavy siege weapons could only be used on the uphill sides, enabling defenses to be concentrated to just one specific side, which is like
Yeah.
tactics.
Yeah. Very cool.
Good
History.
tactics. Well
Yeah,
done.
I thought it was cool.
Love it.
And I just wanted to say Trebuchet.
Yes.
Trebuchet.
memes.
Ooh.
Sorry. Can you hear my door opening?
I don't know. I don't know what it means.
Huh.
It's okay. It's fine.
It's French. It means to throw. I'm going to say that.
I'll look it up. Keep going.
Okay.
To throw.
We've got research on the fly.
Sorry, distracted.
So, no, it's fine. So being a castle built for warfare, as all good castles are, Moosham is no stranger to death. So it stood tall through its besiege in the young. Never mind. It stood tall through its besiege in the year-long German Peasants' War.
The German Peasants' War.
Yeah, of 1524, where the aristocrats saw the slaughter of a third of the 300,000 armed peasants and farmers fighting for freedom from oppression.
Oh,
fuck.
From landlords and nobles.
This sounds like something out of The Great.
Yeah.
Essentially, right? So all these people just, like, over 100,000 people died because they just wanted to, like, own the property that they tilled. Yeah. And the aristocrats, like, fuck off.
Because then they would have no property and no income, naturally.
Essentially. So it was Europe's largest uprising before the French Revolution of 1789.
Oh, that's cool.
So
That's really cool.
Eat the rich.
Yep.
Eat the rich.
Eat the rich.
From the top, let it drop. Guillotine.
Guillotine.
So about 100 odd years later, so if we've had this horrible war, and it was besieged, and then we've got in 1675, the locals got a little bit of spooky fever, a touch of the hysterical sillies, and the Salzburg witch trials began.
Nice.
Yes.
Did we ever heard of the Salzburg witch trials?
Not specifically. Yes. I haven't.
Ooh, we've got a bit of yes, a bit of no. So Moosham Castle was the administrative centre of the witch trials.
Oh, great.
Which I thought was a very funny way to put it. It's the admin centre for organised murder.
Sounds like Fern from admin says that we have to behead this person. Thank you.
I've got the paperwork ready. So, bit of background. The Salzburg witch trials are also known as the Magician Jackal's process.
Great.
What?
Great name.
So, it all began with Barbara Colleran and Peter Kalthenparker.
Great name.
Right.
Great name.
This is where we get into Tay has researched her names and has forgotten. So Barbara and Peter stood trial for theft and sorcery.
Ooh.
Not just theft, but sorcery as well. And they were tortured.
Naturally.
Horrifically. Hands in clamps, twisted down, dunking, burning with hot pokers, that kind of shit. So the torture's awful. Torture's awful at the best of times. So Barbara confessed that her son, who is also named Paul Jacob Colleran, had made a pact with Satan.
Why are you bringing your kid into this, Barbara?
Yeah, so she threw her son super under the bus.
Fucking hell.
So Paul confirmed this and described him to authorities. A 20-year-old man, looks like Barbara. Essentially.
Mother of the year.
Mother of the year. Love it.
So Barbara allegedly taught her son the ways of begging and fraud.
Ooh.
And she was later executed and a warrant was issued for her son's arrest. Because where would she have learned the sorcery from? Her son, who is Satan's best friend.
Naturally.
Yep.
I
Yes.
would like to have Satan's best friend on my gravestone.
We can arrange that.
We can do that.
I would really
Yeah,
like that.
done.
Yeah.
Satan's best friend.
Satan's best friend.
BFFs with Satan.
So Paul Jacob Colleran became known as the Magician Jackal.
Oh.
Or the Wizard Jackal, but I like the Magician Jackal better.
I like Wizard
It's
Jackal.
very good.
I don't know. They both sound really good. That's a great name.
They never referred to him as a witch. He was always a wizard or a magician because we have to keep the genders separate.
Naturally.
So that's pretty much, so that's 1675 all of this has happened. So shit's kind of just stewed there. 2 years later, it's 1677. Everyone hates the poor. It sucks. The jackal is believed to be dead, and the police start rounding up people believed to be connected to him because, hey, if he's connected to others, that means there's other people who would practice in the sorcery, practice in the fraud. Mate, all of our wallets are going to disappear.
Yep. It's the fucking poor again, guys.
It's the fucking poor. So the police arrest a 12-year-old Dionysus Fiedner and took him in for questioning.
Is that his name?
Dionysus.
That's
yes.
an amazing name.
Isn't it? So I saw questioning loosely because it's the 1600s and shit's rough. They're not just questioning him.
It's straight up torture. Yeah.
Well, look at what the fucking cops do now when they question you. How bad do you think it is back then?
It's all shit.
It's not a good time.
It's all awful. No. So Sweet Dio was also disabled. And according to my research, he was known as, quote, Dirty Animal. And I don't know if this was a nickname or if this was a derogatory name, but that's what my research says, that he was known as Dirty Animal.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. So I don't know what's really going on there, but Dio said during his questioning, and I'm doing quotation marks again, that he had seen Jackal around 3 weeks prior to them contacting him. So the Jackal is probably maybe still alive. We don't know. He confessed that Jackal was the leader of a number of gangs in the area, and these gangs were made up mainly of children and teenagers who were begging and stealing, and Jackal had passed on his wicked ways from his mother and Satan to teach these gangs black magic.
Ooh.
So this gets out, and everyone goes fucking berserk. Mass hysteria erupts. Aimed at the poor, aimed at the homeless, really awful shit. These people are being blamed for everything from outbreaks of disease to bad weather that happened 3 years prior. Whatever the nobility could pin on them, they did. So these people had no one to provide alibis, no one to vouch for them. An accusation of witchcraft was a quick and easy way to dispose of these people.
Yup.
According to the nobles. So their history from the German Peasants' War has not fucking gone away. We can just keep getting rid of these people. And so the witch hunt begins. People who were accused of witchcraft were taken to Moosham Castle for trial, holding, and execution. That's our admin. People were told to wait in a holding room. And then a trapdoor would be opened beneath their feet, which they didn't know was there, plunging them to the next story down, landing on hard stone floors.
Oh my god, so you just break everything. Yeah. Great, love it.
There's broken knees, there's broken ankles, feet. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds horrible.
Yeah, because if you just drop suddenly and you have no way to prepare or brace yourself, you're breaking something. And it's a stone castle floor. So there are two ways that the people were executed at Moosham, and they had a sword to decide. So on one side of the blade was the mark of the gallows, and on the other was the mark of an axe. So you were either hanged or decapitated.
Which did you pick?
Oh god, probably decapitated.
Yeah, same.
It's quicker.
It also this is fucked up, but more brutal. I just want to be that person that is decapitated because it's most intense.
You just want to be that person.
I do.
Yeah.
Love it.
Sorry.
So as I mentioned before, I want Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion's Wet Ass Pussy to play as I'm decapitated, and then when they say from the top, let it drop, I want them to drop the blade on me. I want that. I can't stop thinking about that meme.
Have you seen her new video clip, Megan Thee Stallion?
I haven't.
It's a good time. I would really recommend it. There's Edward Scissorhands.
I love that part.
It's Edward Scissorhands. There's fucking the cat is bouncing on her butt from Alice in Wonderland. It's amazing. Please watch.
Yeah.
Okay. Done.
Candy for the eyes.
Candy for the eyes.
Mm-hmm. So this blade wasn't sharpened. It was a ceremonial thing. And so towards the end of the trials, when they were sick of the sword, we want something to mix it up a bit. They would just burn people at the stake.
Why not? That would be the worst one of the three, by the way. Personally,
tried and true.
I would really not want to burn to death.
No, please.
No, thank you.
It's really slow.
I don't like it.
And this is where we get a little bit more grim than
burning
we have been.
Okay. Yep.
We're going another step down. So, not everyone that was trialed as a witch was killed. A lot of the children had their hands cut off,
Oh.
branded with hot iron,
Oh.
and then they were paraded around the streets as a warning to other witches.
Oh.
And they just let them exist with no hands.
That's fucking
Right.
just
Yeah.
lovely.
So when they say branded, I don't believe my first thought was like they cauterized the wound, but no, because that would be just easing the pain a bit. Let's just leave the wounds open. They brand them with a red hot iron to mark them as criminals.
Yes.
Oh,
So even if they survive and their hands don't
Grow
get
back.
infected and kill them, or grow back, Deadpool style, little baby hands,
Yep.
they are branded as a criminal for life. And these are the children,
Yeah.
Love it.
because there was a lot of kids in these witch trials.
Yep.
So during the questioning of all these people, the stories of Jackal became more and more sensationalized. It was said that the Jackal could enchant the vermin found in the slums, sort of like a Pied Piper, and he would command the rats and mice and all sorts to target the farmland and ruin crops.
Great.
And spread disease. And his affinity for black magic had made him an expert serial killer, and the stories were apparently so violent and disgusting the authorities were discouraged from even trying to find him.
What?
So these stories were so fucked that the police are like, you know what? Let's just fucking leave it. Let's just not bother. So Jackal was never found. If he even existed, potentially, is another question altogether. Though he did have a name. So obviously there is some skerrick of information there. But all in all, 139 people were executed during the Salzburg witch trials.
Holy fuck.
113 of them were men.
Oh.
Ooh.
Yeah, which I thought was quite interesting.
It is.
The youngest victim was a 10-year-old boy named Hanel.
Okay.
Oh.
Fuck.
And the eldest was an 8-year-old woman named Margaret Reinberg.
Oh.
It was the largest witch hunt in Austria.
Amazing. Just in Austria, though, not in Europe. Just Austria.
Yes, no.
Just Austria.
There's plenty of more. Plenty
Yeah.
more.
Plenty
around
of
Europe.
more. Yeah.
Plenty of more.
Brutal. The thing that, like, I wonder, though, is, like, okay, so you're talking about how they, like, just drop them unexpectedly into, with a trapdoor. Why?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't
what's
know.
the
That's
point?
just sadistic, right?
Yeah. Like,
It's to keep them from running away.
but why not just fucking break their ankles? Like, you know, like, why not just hobble
Maybe
them?
no one wanted to do it.
Oh.
It's like, I don't want to do
I
that.
don't think that
Can we
was the
just-
problem. I feel like a lot of
No.
people were keen to do some fucking...
We're very keen to be paid to break ankles.
to brutalize some people. Yeah, but like that's just for kicks. That's just someone on the other side of like just hiding in a dark room downstairs, like waiting for the person to drop. Like it's coming.
It's coming. We got a fresh one. Yeah. The Salzburg trials weren't the only supernatural persecutions to happen at Moosham,
Fucking
however.
hell.
Let's skip ahead to the 1800s.
Oh.
Livestock and wild deer are found mutilated around the castle grounds. The cause? Probably werewolves, someone suggested.
Obviously, where else would you go with that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we have the same runaround as the witch trials. People are accused, people are brought in for questioning, tortured, trialed, and killed. Lather, rinse, repeat. Essentially, if you were out for a stroll at night and looked suspicious, you were locked away and deemed a werewolf.
Great, because it's obviously not like the bears or wolves or, you know, many, many things that can
No.
kill livestock that live in this region.
Certainly not.
No.
Yeah. No.
Now, if you'd have asked me a year ago if I thought people today were capable of this shit, I would have said no. But with the current world state, I am not sure. Because it's really... Doom scrolling is a thing that I am probably a little too deep in, and I do it a lot. And I just think to myself, fuck, imagine what would take for us to step over into just full-on witch hunts again.
Not a lot.
Would you like to explain to those playing at home what doom scrolling is?
Okay, so doom scrolling is where you actively seek out awful news and websites and articles because you already feel an impending sense of doom. So to deal with it, you make it worse.
Yeah.
So like, if I follow, I don't, but if I follow like political parties on Twitter or I see a hashtag for something, I'm going to go into the comments and replies and read all of the trash and fodder that people spit up that makes me upset that people like that exist, because I just do it. I don't know why. It's really
It
bad.
is bad. It's a bad time.
Yeah.
There's
It's just a bad time.
you can customize your feed on Reddit, obviously, and you can make a couple of different
Yes.
ones. And I do have one that is solely for doom scrolling.
Oh, yes.
I feel bad. Let's make it worse.
Yes. Do you put your roulette Reddits in there as well?
Yes.
Yeah. Make me suffer and all sorts.
Yeah,
Morbid
that one's a
reality.
good one.
Yes.
I love morbid reality. What's the other one that was really fucked up?
Oh, there's a lot. There's so many less
Um,
than there used to be, though. It used to be just cute
Yeah,
dead
they take 'em
girls and
down.
things like that. You're just like, oh, okay, right.
Someone's into that.
A lot of
Rule
people were
33.
into that.
34? 34.
Rule 34. Yes, that's
Yeah.
it.
Yes.
If it exists, there's porn of it. So eventually, werewolves. We'll go back to that.
Yeah, let's go
Yeah,
back
let's
to a
go back,
safe
yeah.
topic. Thank you.
Yeah.
So eventually, whatever was killing the animals stopped, and the nobles of Moosham Castle were like, "Oh, I'm glad this torture beheading method still works because we've totally solved this werewolf problem." That was totally all of the killing we did. Yeah. So as for the hauntings, you can visit Moosham Castle. It's owned by a family that have owned it for a very long time. You can tour it. Apparently the tours aren't in English, which is a little sucky, but also it's fine.
Google
It's in
Translate
Austria.
exists.
Yes, they do provide English paraphernalia, paperwork, and pamphlets
Ooh.
and all that good stuff. But TripAdvisor has some great reviews. But basically the hauntings are pretty run of the mill. Like, oh, I felt a cold presence. There was a touch on my back. I was pushed. I was grabbed. You can apparently stay there as well.
I want to stay there. Let's do it.
Yeah, it's a beautiful castle. It's really, really, really beautiful. There is a video online that I watched of a medium walk around it. Now, when I was like 19, that was my shit. And every video of a medium I watched, I was like, this is 100% real. I love this. Yes, this is ghosts exist. And now I'm probably a lot more skeptical than I was. And sometimes I can just smell the bullshit. But at the same time, the girl that took him around actually had some really cool like history info. And there's like, so the castle is stunning. And if you walk around the outside, there's like a lot of the lower levels where like the torture chambers were and where the holding cells were, had no windows. And they were like, well, they don't need sunlight.
No.
They're on trial.
We are going
So
to
they just
kill
locked
them
in
whether
these-
they're guilty or not.
Essentially. So it's like these dank, awful, disgusting rooms full of like, back then, piss, shit, and blood. And you're just stinking in there and you're like, I'm going to die here. What an awful feeling that is. But the medium did say that there's no victims here. It's all the people who did the killings.
Oh.
They're all the ghosts that are here. So apparently there
Love
is
it.
a pretty nasty executioner stomping around still. And another quite evil female presence, but he didn't really elaborate much more on that. But I thought the history of this place is too fucking cool. And it's on haunted castles, so that's my loophole. I want to talk about some witch trials, and I did.
Nice.
I love it.
Yeah, it was really dope. If you are interested, I will pop some photos on our socials, weirdsistspodcast.com, if you are so inclined. But just reading the reviews on TripAdvisor is very sweet. Everyone just really loves it. It's just a really nice place for a day trip.
We
I really want to go.
we
And I
need to
hope
go as a
that
podcast, please. Just we need to go.
I loved Salzburg, and I would go again.
Yes, I want to.
Let's go.
Let's go.
They also have overlooking Salzburg is the Salzburg Fortress.
Ooh.
And that's a really fucking cool place. There's also like a really weird demon puppet show inside the castle, which made no sense.
You sold me.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
It's
I'm
locked
really
in.
into that.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do it. Your memory is so impressive to me because I can't remember what
It's
the fuck I
insane.
did yesterday, and then you can remember all sorts of shit constantly. How?
I've inherited that trait from my father. He is exactly the same.
Can remember everything that was ever said to him ever.
Yep.
It's one of my
And
favorite
he
things
remembers
about you.
people from like fucking, way fucking ago. And like he can, that's what I got from him.
It's very impressive.
But I didn't get like his, mathematical brain or anything like that. I just have a stupid a stupid knowledge of history that doesn't get me anywhere, except on this podcast where you guys are proud of me.
We love it. So proud.
We are. We love you for it.
Yeah.
Speaking of executioners, just randomly, little tidbit that I thought you guys would find interesting because I learned this recently, well, a while ago. So executioners was like a job that people fucking hated back in the day, apparently. And it was something that you didn't go for, you got given by usually being passed down. Like your family, usually like granddad or someone had been the executioner. And so when the next executioner was needed, they were like, well, everyone already fucking hates your family, so roll on up.
Oh god.
Yeah, exactly. So it was like very unwanted job because people did not like them. They didn't want to be anywhere near them. And so like it was often you would do it for a couple of years or something like that. And then you would try and hide your identity from the public, hence the hood. Because you often always see like in media executioners have a hood and a face covering and things like that. Everyone knew anyway, because obviously these places weren't very big usually. There's only so many people it could be. And so yeah, it was like just an awful job apparently. And I've always been really interested in that because like, can you imagine having to be the executioner of your small sort of hamlet area and you're executing people that you like buy milk off and your daughters play together and shit like that.
100%.
So
it's so bizarre.
I was in, where were we? Poland. So in this church, I can't pronounce it. Cannot fucking pronounce it. But in the back of the church, there was a pew for the executioner and his family. So he wouldn't have to do it. Nobody touched them. Yep. If you were buying fish from the market, you would point at the fish, what you wanted. You'd put your money on the ground, and the shopkeeper would come, pick your money up, put the fish down, whatever. Like
COVID safe.
COVID safe. And it was an absolute art. You had to, it wasn't Poland anyway, they were really into it. Like, you knew what weapons you used for certain ways of torture and execution. Yep. You needed to have, to calculate the rope drop so they broke their neck and didn't strangle to death. And if you botched somebody's execution, it was a fucking huge deal.
Yeah.
Really big. Because you were meant to have one job, and that was to kill them quickly and humanely.
Unless you were torturing them, in which case you need to make sure they don't die from what you do to them.
Yep. And then, that was a thing. So they'd learn how to seal wounds with tar, that kind of stuff.
Holy shit.
It was a whole thing.
Yeah. I was doing some research recently for part of a story I'm writing. And it was about like, what do you do if you're on a ship and you don't have a surgeon and like something goes down? And they were like, well, there's a hierarchy of who is going to perform the surgery. So like say for example someone has their legs smashed to pieces by a cannonball from another ship and you need to amputate that fucking leg. Like it's not, you will die from gangrene if you leave it on. It's got to come off. So they're like, well, if you don't have a surgeon, next person you go to is the carpenter, because they know how to cut shit and they have the tools for it. So you just fucking hope that they can do it, and they have to do it as quickly as possible. So it's like a hierarchy on a ship of like, so you go to the carpenter. Every ship will always have a carpenter. If the carpenter's dead on that voyage for some reason, you go to his assistant, because there always has to be an assistant, because if the ship gets fucked up while you're away and you don't have a carpenter because he's dead, hopefully you still have at least one or two assistants there. So it's just like this weird thing of like, so you go from surgeon, no surgeon, you go to the physicist. If physicist isn't there, or physician, you go to the carpenter, and if you don't have a carpenter, you go to the assistant. So you're just getting these progressively younger boys basically to try and hack off a limb. It was very cool. It's very interesting.
Yikes.
Brutal.
Well,
yeah.
Here's my dipping sources. We've got Wikipedia, TripAdvisor, MysteriousTrip.com, DuckTourist.com, and ILoveWerewolves.com.
Great.
I like that website.
Fab.
Yes, and that is Moosham Castle.
Thank you. That was really cool.
You're welcome. Yeah, I thought it was cool too.
I loved it.
I love it. I've just sent you a picture of the executioner's chair from this Poland thing.
Oh, I feel sad for them.
But check out this church though. Hang on a sec.
We definitely need to put that on the Instagram.
Yes, it will
On
definitely be
on
up
the
there.
gram.
I would like a chair like that, though, by the way. Just saying.
Yeah.
My new house is big enough for me to have a chair like that. I want to fill it with dumb shit.
All right.
Right below the crucifixion of Jesus,
Love it. Oh, that is a nice castle.
seat of honor.
Yeah, seat of honor. So, I did do my job. I did find out what trebuchet originally meant.
Oh, wonderful.
It originally meant to stumble. And when you kind of look at a trebuchet, the way it sort of circles round, it kind of does stumble a little bit.
It definitely shakes.
It definitely shakes, and then it bashes through walls. Fuck yeah, well done, trebuchet.
Love it. Yep.
Okie dokie.
The superior
Lacey's
weapon.
research corner.
Lacey's research corner.
Superior weapon. Bring back the trebuchet.
Bring back the trebuchet. I mean, wouldn't that be fucking cool if Uber Eats just had like trebuchets and you had to catch your food? Like paleo style, like big like glove or something. I'd be into that.
I would never eat because I'm awful at catching shit.
Yeah.
I'm surprisingly good at it for someone who's English and very bad at everything else physically related.
Well, I throw with my right hand and I catch with my left.
Yeah, I think that's pretty normal.
Yeah, I don't know. Is it the result of many concussions over the years? We'll see. Okie dokie.
Hey, be careful. Those add up.
Oh, I'm pretty sure I'm like this year. I've already had 2 this year.
What? How?
As I fell over in hospital and knocked myself out.
Oh,
Twice.
Christ.
Fucking hell.
Twice.
You are not allowed to do anything alone ever. You need to be constantly wrapped in cotton wool.
Yeah.
The same cotton wool that was on the Elemental.
Oh. Okie dokie. So, just putting some photos on the chat so you can get the vibe.
Brilliant.
All right.
Thank you. Oh, that's
All
a big house.
It'd be a big house. Yes.
Of course. I know what you have done.
I know what you have done. All right, guys. Perched on top of the remains of a dormant volcano, it's hard to miss the imposing fortress that looms over Edinburgh. Like an old soldier, the grey sentinel keeps watch through the fog. He has seen me carrying a flaming torch through the streets, and eat nothing but deep-fried Mars bars for 3 consecutive days. I even got engaged beneath his watchful eye. He's also witnessed hundreds of deaths, witch trials, and a lot of torture sessions in his time, and is home to more dead residents than live ones. The castle I'm about to talk about today exists as the most besieged castle in all of the UK and is one of the most attacked in all of Europe. I'm, of course, talking about Edinburgh Castle.
Yay!
Woo! Okie dokie. So, archaeologists have established that there was always kind of a settlement there from around 850 AD.
Fuck.
It was a royal castle since the first reign since about 12th century, like royalty was there.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the 17th century, it kind of became a military barracks and more of a fortress. And so we've got from like royal happenings to straight up military, huge jail kind of vibes. So it is actually one of the most haunted locations in Scotland, let alone the UK.
Brilliant.
I'm going to come up with some notable events.
Oh.
All right. So as you can kind of see from what Edinburgh is, it looks like a huge, it can be seen from all over the city. And it's sort of like not one big castle. It's kind of like they built some and then they built a little bit more. Then they put huge fucking walls on the sides of it so cannons could fit in because yes. But notable events. My favorite, of course, is the Black Dinner or the Black Supper.
Oh.
So in 1440, the young Earl of Douglas, who was 16, and his younger brother David, were invited to dine at the castle. Their host was the 10-year-old King of Scotland, James II.
As you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they had a really nice dinner party, but unbeknownst to everyone, including the king, the Chancellor of Scotland, who was the regent that kind of ruled in the stead of the 10-year-old king, had wanted to make sure the Douglas clan didn't grow too powerful. So at the end of the dinner, the head of a black bull was dropped in the middle of the table. It's kind of like a horse head in the bed in olden times.
Yeah.
The two young Douglas boys were dragged outside for a mock trial where they were both beheaded. This gruesome black supper was one of the inspirations for the Red Wedding in Game of Thrones.
Yes, very
100%.
cool.
Yes.
It's got
yeah.
Game of Thrones all over it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Here we go. So there was a legitimate paranormal scientific experiment held at Edinburgh Castle.
That's the paradox.
In 2001, Dr. Richard Wiseman conducted a study that included over 240 participants. These people were moved through some of the most haunted areas in Edinburgh Castle without any prior knowledge of what areas were what. They were told they were getting like a free tour of the castle.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they were interviewed afterwards, half of the participants reported having unexplainable paranormal experiences during their time on the tour. These were mainly reported within areas known to be haunted, like the dungeons and such. Volunteers reported sudden drops in temperature, seeing shadowy figures, hearing moans and screams, a feeling of being watched, a burning sensation on the skin, an unseen presence touching the face, and the feeling of someone tugging at their clothes.
Oh, we have to go.
Yep, add it to the list.
Yep. That sounds
We're going to do a roundup. We're going to do all
awesome.
three. Wiz, this is 2029.
Love it. Amazing. That's
Yeah.
what will actually be allowed out of this country, by the way.
Yeah.
All right. Now, of course, something very famous that happened in Scotland, mainly in Edinburgh, was, of course, the Scottish witch trials, which are about to put the Austrian witch trials to shame.
Oh, throwing some
Moosham.
fucking shade. Okay.
So, it was between the 15th and 18th centuries that the satanic panic was widespread across Scotland. And Scotland has the dubious honour of having executed the most people under the charge of witchcraft in the world.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
Holy shit.
So, the King of Scotland at the time, he was King of Scotland in England, really fucking didn't like, witchcraft or any of that shit. He said that anybody suspected of being a witch must be in league with the devil and thus must be put to death. And so this huge hysteria just grew and grew and grew. He also became convinced that during a sea voyage where he went across to get his bride from Denmark, there was a big storm, and he said that it was witches.
Okay. Yeah, naturally.
And 70 women were accused of being witches and were burned at the stake just for that particular instance. Yeah.
70 people died because weather.
Huh.
Because weather, yes.
More than half of the people that died in the Salzburg trials died.
Yep.
Okay.
Amazing. Great.
No, literally half. Okay, no, it checks out. Okay.
Yep.
Sure.
So, of
We'll take
course, in truth, the women accused of being witches, more women than men, right? Were skilled herbalists, midwives, or people suffering mental illnesses, or a woman with a lot of money and land and influence.
Oh.
Unfortunately, the only test for witchery, it was called witchery, not witchcraft, I love it, during the period was to be bound by hands and feet and thrown into the Nor Loch, or the North Lake. So you see the castle on the huge rocky volcano thing. Below that, there was basically this huge fucking lake that acted like a moat.
Okay.
This is like the best place for a fortress. But the problem was they threw them off the cliff of the castle with their legs and hands bound, and the Nor Loch was basically it was a cesspit of human remains, feces, blood from the slaughterhouses. The cesspit, this lake was so fucking bad and smelled so bad that Edinburgh actually got the moniker Old Reeky. Like, it stank
that's good.
the whole fucking city out. It actually was emptied in the 1800s because everybody was like, fuck no. This needs to go. There is no saving this.
That's fair.
Just get rid of it.
Cut your losses with that one. That's fair.
So when they drained it, there was multiple human remains.
Yay.
Including 3 in a box.
In a box.
In a box. So what happened there? This is just a side quest.
I like it.
This man called Sinclair and his 2 sisters were having an incestuous relationship.
Oh.
And Scotland has never really been down with the whole incest thing. So what they did was put them in a box and drill holes in it and then put them in the lake.
I'm on Scotland's side with that one.
See,
quietly.
I think the sisters, like, you could. I think the sisters that he was having the relationship with, you know, like, they could have been, if they weren't into it, they could have survived.
Were they into it? Do we know that they were?
They were into it.
Oh, okay.
They were into it.
They were into it.
Oh. Yeah, no, that's not for me.
Anyway.
What are you doing, stepbro?
Oh no, they were full blood.
No, I'm just making this shit joke.
Okay.
Have you not been on fucking Pornhub lately? What's wrong with you?
I have not. I have not been on Pornhub lately.
Don't.
I'm stuck in the washing machine. Or is it the dryer? I'm stuck in the dryer.
Just the window. The window stuck in the wall.
Yeah.
Stuck in this glory hole. Yeah. Okay.
I'm stuck.
Stuck.
I'm stuck in the lock.
Under the bed.
Stuck in the box with the holes in it.
Oh Christ.
So of course, you know, if the witches drowned, they were of course innocent. So if you drowned in
swampy, horrible shit soaked
blood shit.
Yeah. Oh. So if you survived, probably because you were on top of another couple of 100 bodies, so you know you didn't sink properly or something. They were proven to be witches, and then they were killed. We burnt witches at the stake in Scotland. That was like the vibe. Mm-hmm. So over 300 women were burnt at the castle.
Oh.
And right where the stake would have been is now a beautiful, gorgeous, fantastic restaurant and hotel called The Witchery. And it is a bucket list item. I would love to have dinner there. It is so gorgeous.
We need to do it.
Also, there is a small monument called the Witches' Well as a testament to these people who were killed. It's very, very small. It's located on the wall just as you come into the castle. It's very small. There is going to be a bigger memorial. There's been calls for it lately. We want a bigger thing because this was huge. And that will come. Okay. But the Witches' Well is very nice. I have a picture of it. Boop. Boop. Okay.
As always, witchespodcast.com for all the socials to view all of these photos.
Yeah.
Oh, that is nice.
Oh, it's beautiful. It is very small.
It is, yeah. Considering how many people died,
Yeah.
I feel like maybe we need a big one.
It could be bigger. It was actually a working drinking fountain that connected to the well underneath, but because, public safety, we can't just drink out of the wall anymore.
From the ground,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Nora Loch, after it was drained, it was made into a beautiful park.
That's lovely.
And it's kind of like dipped, like it is like the bottom of like a river or a lake.
Yeah.
And that is where I got engaged. So I got engaged at a former cesspit.
On top
That's
of all
beautiful.
the bodies.
Romantic. Yeah.
A very fertile ground for a park.
Yes. Oh, it is very, very
blood
green.
and bone.
All the blood and bone.
And shit.
Yes. All right. Now we're on to the hauntings. So there's so many. So I've just done the most interesting and weird ones.
Yes.
She's curated for
Love
us.
it.
She's
I've curated.
pick and mixed us a beautiful selection.
I missed
All right.
mix.
So, this guy's called the Dung Prisoner.
Oh, yes.
I don't want to be remembered that way forever. Please pick me a cool name when I die.
So this unfortunate soul's name has been lost to time, so he's just called the Dung Prisoner.
Oh, dude, no. Call him Larry.
So, no, Dung Prisoner.
No!
So if you were a prisoner sent to Edinburgh Castle, you knew one thing for certain, that your death would not be a quick one.
Fuck.
Aw.
So even if you quickly confessed your crime to sort of like bypass the torture so that you'd be beheaded quickly, you would still be beaten until your bones broke and starved in the dungeons that existed really, really deep within the castle.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, okay, great.
So one desperate prisoner chose to hide in a dung barrow filled with human and animal feces, thinking that no one would be willing to search for him in there.
Oh, no.
Bless you, you tried.
Uh-oh.
He hoped that he would be carried out of the castle and down the Royal Mile and escape to freedom. The Royal Mile it's not even a mile. It's a bit over a mile. We've got two castles on either end of the mile. That's why it's called the Royal Mile. We have the Edinburgh Castle at the top, and then we have Holyrood Palace down the bottom.
Okay.
Holyrood Palace is where is where the Queen
asking, but
and
we're not allowed near each other.
is where the Queen lives when she's in town. So they're both palaces, but Holyrood's nicer, and like it's not like Edinburgh Castle's furnished and shit like that. It's like it looks like, you know, it's a fucking dungeon. Like, let's be real. So you've got this nice Royal Mile. So he was hoping that that's how he would go down, you know, freedom, nice. However, the method that the castle staff used to dispose of feces was not that way. They emptied it down the rocky cliff of the castle into the Norloch.
Yeah, I was going to say, was it into the lock?
Yeah.
It was into the loch. Yeah, and then, yeah. So that's how he died. So the visitors...
better than what he was going to have happen to him, I guess, so...
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'd have taken the beheading of the hanging. Maybe not the pyre, but I wouldn't have taken the lock.
You would have been happy with the beating and the bone breaking for months
Yeah,
beforehand?
I wouldn't want to go in the loch.
I don't want to drown in shit.
No, I don't like that either. You're right. I don't know what I would do. I probably would just be sad.
Okay.
I'd be sad too. Let's leave it at that.
Yeah.
Pretty bummed out.
I'd probably just be sad.
Yeah. Bummer.
So visitors claim that his ghost tries to push them from the battlements.
Oh,
and you can always smell him coming.
Larry,
Sometimes
I
it's a
didn't fucking throw you off the battlements. Don't fucking push me.
Oh, so he's gonna, like, he smells of shit.
Yeah.
And that's what his ghost is. A smell of shit and a push from the battlements. That's what he is.
Larry.
I know.
Sorry.
I'm less sympathetic for him now that he's trying to fucking take everyone else down with him.
Hey, look, I am also mean when I'm unhappy.
Maybe he was in that fucking castle prison for a reason.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You know
Right?
what?
But considering
Yeah.
that some dude fucking killed 70 women because there was weather, maybe not.
Meh, he was a king. So, well,
Yeah.
what was it? Okay. So the next one's kind of a bit sad, but, you know, that's how we roll in Edinburgh. So
And on the
one of the most famous ghosts in Edinburgh Castle is a young boy who plays the bagpipes.
Oh, this
So-
sounds familiar.
Yeah. So this mystery dates back several centuries when numerous tunnels were found under the castle that led to Holyrood Palace down the bottom of the Royal Mile. There's been a couple of times where people have discovered tunnels under Edinburgh that they didn't realise they were there. Actually, part of them were used as air raid shelters during the war.
Right.
They were that far under. They're probably the safest air raid shelters in the UK, to be honest. So when the tunnels were discovered, they wanted to see where they went, but the entrance was, a bit small. So they got a local boy to go through, and they wanted him to play his pipes loudly as he walked through the tunnel, and they were able to like map where he went. And you could hear the pipes underneath the ground because bagpipes have that gift.
Yeah.
Yeah, that really strong one tone. Yeah.
Yep. So it worked really well for a while until the pipes stopped suddenly.
Oh.
Search parties undertook multiple rescue attempts, but the boy piper was never found, and there's never been any remains found.
Oh.
Holy shit.
What? What happened to him? Where'd he go?
They don't know.
Oh.
That's actually really sad. I know you said
know.
it was going to be sad, but I didn't think it was going to be this sad.
Something got him.
It totally did. And it freaked everybody out, so the tunnel was sealed.
Oh, okay. They're just like, well, it's too bad for you, son. Bye.
Yeah, and nobody's been back down there since.
Oh.
So people have reported hearing the faint sound of a single bagpipe under the road, under the ground, along the mile.
God.
Oh, he's down there still doing his job.
He's down there. He's like, guys, I've mapped out this whole fucking place for centuries.
Yeah.
I'm really good at figuring out.
I've double
where
and
it's all
triple
in.
checked it.
Yeah.
Oh, buddy.
Yeah.
Moment of silence for Bagpipe Boy 2020. That sucks.
All right.
Okay. Tell
On
me
to the
more.
next one.
Yeah.
So,
More, please.
It is still a military barracks to this day. So it's only Edinburgh and the Tower of London that are historical castles that have the barracks in them.
Mm-hmm.
So, you have soldiers with like big boy guns and things like that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
Big boy guns.
big boy guns. Another type of soldier has a little wee cemetery there, and it is the little cemetery of all the dogs.
Oh.
Oh, wonderful.
All the good boys. There's about 20 graves. They all have little headstones and names and things like that. And it is very common to see a spectre of a black dog
Oh, I like it.
wandering around the castle. It's very cute, and they probably have the best view in all of Edinburgh, really.
Truly.
But there is room for more dogs. So it'll just continue being a cemetery for the resident dogs of Edinburgh Castle, which I thought was really nice.
That's really beautiful.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that a lot.
So the next one, again, tragic. We're getting back to witches again, ladies.
Yes. Our favourite.
So Janet Douglas, who was the Lady of Glamis, she was a very, very, God damn it. What's the word I'm thinking of?
Very kinky girl. Type you don't take home to mother.
No. Influential. She had lots of money. She had a fucking title.
Right.
She had all the things.
She a bad bitch.
Yeah, she was great. So, but the problem was, she was really pretty, and the king was like, "You're a witch,"
Because she's hot.
and she had a lot of money and a lot of influence.
Okay.
So she was accused of trying to poison the king. There's nothing. There's no evidence that,
No.
Zero
that
evidence,
she did.
but okay.
Zero evidence.
Her existence is a poison.
Yeah.
Pestilence.
And nothing could save her.
Oh.
So on what's now the esplanade of Edinburgh Castle, she was burnt at the stake, and her 16-year-old son was forced to watch.
Oh. Nice.
Fuck.
Okay. Thanks, dude.
She was described as, quote, in the prime of her years, of a singular beauty and suffering through it all, though a woman with a man-like courage, unquote.
Well.
So this execution of Lady Janet, after it, immediately, a grey lady began to started to be seen at the castle.
Ooh.
She wanders around the grounds and weeps. And also a knocking can be heard around, and like consistent knocking like a hammer onto a nail. And that is believed to be the workmen building her scaffold.
Oh.
Imagine carrying that around with you for eternity.
That's fucked up.
That is
very fucked up.
I love Edinburgh.
It's so nice. And this is just the castle ghost. There's so much more.
I really want to go. Very bad.
All right. Now, I'm ending today with another dead little boy.
Oh, love it. Okay, fantastic.
Finish strong.
Finish strong. All right. So this tale goes back to 1650 when the phantom of a headless drummer boy was seen wandering the castle walls drumming a Scottish war tune.
Oh, I love it.
Oh my god.
Legend has it that whenever the drummer boy's ghost is spotted, the castle is about to come under attack.
Ooh.
That's brutal. So we'll get a trebuchet so we can see the head.
Perhaps that he's like alerting those in charge that the threat is on the way. So it's more common to hear the drum than see him.
Okay.
But when you see him, like that means the castle's going to be attacked.
Okay.
He was last seen in 1650. Edinburgh, when he was seen, Edinburgh then had a series of strange experiences, including sword-shaped meteors speeding across the sky and a spectral army of soldiers riding horseback over nearby hills.
Holy shit!
As a result, the governor of the castle decided to investigate the matter himself, and he came out and he was like, "The fuck, guys?" Only to hear a drum playing the tune and the sound of many feet marching to the beat going past him in a procession.
That's so cool.
Oh my god.
And then what was happening at that time was Oliver Cromwell and his army were invading.
What?
Oh my god.
Invaded days later. The army was massing outside of Edinburgh.
Oh, fuck.
See, this is the shit that 19-year-old me is like, this is it. Ghosts are real.
Yeah.
And 27-year-old me is like, yes, this is it. Ghosts are real. The evidence is here. But then I see other shit. I'm like, nah, but this shit, no. This is real. I've decided it.
So I like to think that the Piper Boy and the Headless Drummer Kid are friends.
Yeah.
They can collab with the Bagpipe Boy.
And they collab. Yes.
Drop the SoundCloud track.
Drop the sound. Okay. So Edinburgh Castle hasn't been attacked for some time now. So that may explain why the boy hasn't been sighted by anybody alive today.
Mm-hmm. Fair.
But the last time the castle was attacked is my favourite battle of all time.
Yeah.
Oh, hit us up.
It
Go on.
happened in 1916. And nobody knows about it because it was a really shit battle.
Don't tell anyone it was shit.
So,
Tell us.
Edinburgh Castle was attacked by not one, but two German Zeppelins in the First World War.
Oh,
Oh my
fuck.
God.
Okay.
Now, Edinburgh Castle is normally like armed to the teeth, guns, cannons, all of the shit.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, one of the Scottish kings loved to collect big boy guns, like big fucking ton cannons.
Oh, right. Okay.
Right?
Big boy guns.
Big boy guns. But the guns that were available, because they didn't think Edinburgh would be attacked, were all at the front, and the ones that were there were antique and needed like gunpowder, like proper.
Oh,
right?
shit.
So they had no guns.
Oh, God.
But they did have one gun. But it was the 1 o'clock gun. So it is a big cannon that's fired at 1 o'clock every day. So that
Are you
everybody
telling me
could
they fire a fucking cannon every day?
at 1 o'clock, yeah.
At what?
Still?
Yeah, so that everybody can set their watches.
Oh, that's
Okay.
so good.
Right? But it makes a big bang.
Uh-huh.
but it fires blanks.
Okay, right.
So they just had the bang. They had no ammo. So the German Zeppelins didn't know this and were frightened off by this huge bang. But also, the two Zeppelins were dropping bombs that weren't exploding. They were duds.
Oh no!
Oh my
So
God.
the battle
was firing blanks.
So the battle was between a gun firing blanks and the Zeppelin also firing blanks.
Fuck, that's good.
Very ridiculous.
Yeah, I love how so many stories about the First World War is just that people had their wires crossed, or like they just didn't know that the Zeppelin's bombs weren't working, or this person didn't know this, so this ship could just sail past. It's like, it's so fucking funny, and it could not happen today. And it's so cool. It's so interesting.
Oh, it's lovely.
Dumb. I always love the fake tanks that we used as well. I think it was the First World War. I can't remember if it was the first or the second. But England used a bunch of like fake tanks, and they used like fake men to look like there were heaps and heaps of like armies like basically advancing, so like the enemy ran away. That's great. It's good.
That's good.
So I like to think that the drummer boy didn't show up because he knew that they would be fine. And it wasn't like a real battle anyway.
He's like, it's cool, don't worry.
It's fine. You guys have got this.
Yeah.
That's gold.
So that is Edinburgh Castle.
Loved it.
So it's a very spooky place. You can go down into the dungeon where the Black Supper happened. There's also, this is where the Scottish royal jewels are kept. There's not many of them because the English took them. And
as they want to do.
There's also the Scottish
back England.
Yes, there's also the Scottish War Museum and a tiny little church that was built there in the 12th century, which you can still get married at if it's 12 people, including you two and the priest.
Oh.
It's very, very small. Very, very nice. Yeah, it's a great place to go. I encourage. It's lovely.
I really want to go. Road trip.
Dude, I'm a fucking pro at showing people around Edinburgh. I really, really am. I know all the good places.
I know so much about it just through osmosis through you.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm proud of that.
So good.
I've never had an
that's
interest in going before
really
I met you. And now I'm like, that's where I need to go. That's the place.
Yes. Right? We need to go. Lock it in. We're going to do it at some point when it's safe to do so.
When we're allowed out of this country.
Yeah.
Yes. So my sources are edinburghlive.co.uk, inews.co, Wikipedia, The Culture Trip, and Ranker, and then my own
Just
experience.
knowledge.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you. That was really, really good.
Excellent, dude. Excellent episode all round.
Well done, team. Very proud
good.
of you. Our next episode should come out when we're allowed outside again.
Yes.
Is that right?
The lockdown is potentially ending. Yes. Well, yes, is ending. Stay indoors, wash your fucking hands. We are so close. Yes. Melbourne lockdown should be over in the beginnings of being over, I should say. 2nd of November.
Yes.
Yes.
7 months that we have been confined.
Yes.
10 for me.
Yes. Isn't that fucked?
Indeed. That's fucked. Well, I'm excited to see everyone again. But until then, I'm done. I'm done with you people.
Yes.
And I have nothing else to say to you.
If you're not done with us at home though, you can find us at weirdsisspodcast.com. All the socials are there: Facebook, iTunes, Spotify. Leave us a comment, leave us a review. We love you very much. Stay safe, and we will see you next time for 3 more horrible tales. We love you.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.